Hello, beautiful Taurus. A financial truth that has been quietly building beneath the surface is beginning to rise, and someone close to you may soon reveal more than they intended when it comes to money and trust. This video is more than a passing message. It feels like a moment you were meant to encounter. You did not arrive here by chance because something has been trying to reach your awareness for quite some time. Between June 25th and June 26, 2026, a deeper understanding of the tension you've been sensing may finally become impossible to overlook. What emerges during this window of clarity has the potential to change the way you view your finances, your relationships, and your own sense of strength. Let me ask you honestly, Taurus, have you been brushing aside that quiet feeling that appears around a certain person? Have you noticed moments when silence seems to say more than words, or sensed that something important has remained just out of sight? If any of this feels familiar, then this message is not only relevant, it is personal, timely, and worthy of your attention. This space is dedicated to transformation, where astrology, timing, and deeper insight come together to reveal what often hides beneath appearances. I believe that guidance does not always arrive through dramatic signs. Sometimes it speaks through a restless feeling that refuses to leave your heart. When that happens, it is not there to punish you, but to prepare you. What is approaching for you, Taurus, is not only clarity, but also opportunity. Even if the truth feels uncomfortable at first, it can create the freedom you've needed for a long time. It can make room for abundance to grow, not only in financial matters, but also in your peace of mind, your boundaries, your confidence, and your sense of value. You are not meant to keep shrinking yourself so others can remain comfortable. You are meant to grow into something stronger and more aligned with who you have become. Take a moment and ask yourself something important. Is there someone who only seems present when they want something from you? Is there someone who subtly dims your excitement, changes the atmosphere when you celebrate progress, or leaves you questioning your own success? That is not genuine support. It is influence disguised as connection, and during this period of clarity, that disguise may begin to fade. If you are still here, Taurus, part of you already recognizes what this message is pointing toward. You have noticed signs, felt nudges, remembered dreams, or experienced moments that seem too meaningful to dismiss. Let this video serve as confirmation of what your intuition has been trying to tell you. Ground yourself. Become fully present and type 8888 in the comments as a declaration that you are ready to welcome abundance built on truth. Let that number become a quiet commitment to choose clarity over illusion and trust over confusion. Let it represent the energy that says, I am ready to receive what is meant for me. And before we continue, I want to thank you sincerely for being here. Every like, comment, share, and subscription strengthens this community and helps these messages reach the people who need them. Your presence matters more than you realize, and your support helps keep this space alive and growing. If these messages bring you clarity, you can also support the channel through the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. To everyone who has already offered support, thank you from the heart. Your generosity helps these conversations continue and allows this community to keep expanding with purpose, truth, and connection. And Taurus, stay with me through every part of this message, because what is beginning to come into the light carries the potential to be truly remarkable. Tell me honestly, what drew you here today? What part of you recognized that there was something in these words meant specifically for you? Because once we step into this conversation together, everything begins with seeing clearly. There is something deeply meaningful about certain astrological alignments, especially when Venus and Pluto challenge each other the way they are around June 25th and June 26, 2026. This period is more than a date on the calendar. It feels like a window of clarity opening where something important can finally be seen for what it is. Venus governs money, relationships, and personal values, while Pluto brings hidden motives, buried truths, and transformation into the light. What is happening now is not about punishment, it is about awakening. This is not gentle energy drifting quietly through your life. It is the kind of awareness that uncovers what has been ignored, overlooked, or quietly weakening the foundations you've relied on. Yet truth does not appear to tear your world apart. It arrives to set you free from what no longer belongs in your future. If you felt uneasy around someone lately, if your body seems to tense when they speak, or if a lingering feeling tells you something remains unsaid, pay attention. That inner response is not random, it is guidance. The appearance of the Seven of Swords reinforces that message, suggesting that something has been concealed. It could involve finances, intentions, or loyalty. You may have dismissed those feelings, explained them away, or convinced yourself that you were reading too much into the situation. Still, your intuition continues to register what your mind tries to rationalize. This card acts as both a signal and a caution. The universe may begin with whispers, but eventually the truth reaches a point where it can no longer remain hidden. That is where the Tower enters the story. Around this period, it is less about destruction and more about removing what has become unstable. A realization appears, an unexpected message arrives, or someone's actions reveal more than their words ever did. What once seemed solid suddenly looks very different. Even if that moment feels uncomfortable, remember that exposure creates space for something better. Sometimes we continue investing in what feels familiar because we believe loyalty and time will eventually strengthen it. But when a foundation is no longer aligned with reality, it cannot support lasting growth. Once the illusion is cleared away, a new possibility emerges. That is the gift of the Ace of Pentacles. It represents a fresh financial beginning, a new opportunity, or a path that could not fully open until the confusion was removed. The blessing was always available, but it needed room to take root. Now that clarity is creating that room, abundance has a chance to grow from a stronger foundation. The universe works best through alignment. It does not build lasting prosperity on structures that are already weakening beneath the surface. That is why this energy can be a gift, even when it feels challenging. It reveals what no longer supports you so that you can stop pouring your time, trust, and energy into places that cannot sustain your future. I also want to remind you of something important. When something falls away, it does not automatically mean you failed. Often it means you have outgrown it. Life continually invites you to build again, but this time with deeper awareness, healthier boundaries, and a stronger sense of your own value. You're not here to ignore the truth in order to preserve someone else's comfort. You are here to live in alignment with it. When that shift happens, your inner world begins to change, and your outer circumstances often follow. New opportunities appear, meaningful connections develop, and paths that once seemed closed begin to open. This is how grace often works. Sometimes it feels like a calm breeze, and other times it feels like the clearing of a crowded field so something healthier can grow. There is no need to rush the rebuilding process, but there is value in releasing what has already run its course. Even if fear is present, clarity can still guide your next step. Some of the strongest acts of faith involve letting go of what feels familiar, so that something more aligned can arrive. As you move through this energy, remember that what is leaving was never meant to remain forever. What is being revealed carries purpose, and what waits beyond that revelation may be far greater than what could have developed in uncertainty. Keep your heart open, stay grounded, and trust the process of clearing away what no longer fits. What is happening now is not unfolding for the sake of drama. It is unfolding with precision. The most difficult truths rarely come from obvious enemies. They often come through familiar connections, through people who earned your trust and learned your patterns well enough to remain close. That is why this realization can feel unsettling. You were not expecting conflict, you were extending trust. And that difference is exactly why this realization matters so much. Pay close attention to how your body has been responding lately, not to the explanations you've been giving yourself or the reasons you created to stay comfortable, but to the signals beneath all of that. Notice the quiet uncertainty that seems to appear only around one particular person. Notice how their compliments sometimes feel empty rather than encouraging, and how a subtle tension arises whenever conversations turn toward success, finances, or future goals. These experiences are not random, they are messages, and they have been trying to reach you long before the truth began moving into view. Taurus, you naturally value stability. and often believe that loyalty deserves patience and time. That quality has helped you build meaningful relationships and strong foundations throughout your life. Yet this moment is asking you to recognize something important. A sense of security that requires you to ignore your intuition is not true security at all. It is a form of self-abandonment, disguised as comfort. And the price of that comfort becomes greater the longer it continues. The signs rarely arrive in dramatic ways. More often, they appear through small patterns that slowly reveal themselves over time. It may be someone who introduces doubt when you feel confident in yourself. It may be someone who disappears when support is needed, only to return when they want access to your time, energy, or resources. It may even be someone who encourages you just enough to keep you comfortable while quietly steering you away from growth. These moments can gradually weaken trust, not only in another person, but in your own instincts. That is why this period of clarity is so important. Its purpose is not to make you cynical or guarded. Its purpose is to reconnect you with your own inner certainty. This is not about assigning blame. It is about returning to alignment with what is genuinely right for you. As your life expands, not everyone who felt comfortable with an earlier version of you will naturally grow alongside that expansion. Some people prefer the version of you that was predictable, accommodating, or willing to settle for less than you deserved. Growth changes relationships. Financial growth especially has a way of revealing truths that remain hidden during quieter seasons. When values begin moving in different directions, tension often says more than words ever could. Right now, a different kind of strength is being asked of you. It is not the strength of confrontation for the sake of conflict. It is the strength of honesty for the sake of freedom. You do not need to debate your feelings. You do not need to persuade anyone to understand your perspective. You do not need permission to honor what you already know. Your responsibility is both simple and powerful. Trust your inner guidance. Stop excusing behavior that repeatedly leaves you unsettled, and choose clarity even when it challenges what feels familiar. Many people wonder why truth so often arrives through uncomfortable experiences, yet sometimes the most protective thing that can happen is for something hidden to become visible. When confusion is removed, the exhausting cycle of questioning yourself finally begins to end. Clarity restores your sense of authority over your own life. From that place, genuine abundance becomes possible because your energy is no longer being quietly negotiated away. This is why a personal declaration can be so meaningful during a period like this. Not as a performance for others, but as a way of realigning with your own self-respect and reminding yourself where your boundaries belong. Whether you write it down or speak it aloud, choosing truth, clarity, and courage is not an act of rejection. It is an act of returning to yourself. As your inner foundation becomes stronger, your external circumstances often begin to shift as well. Opportunities become easier to recognize, financial choices feel clearer, and your energy naturally stops flowing toward places that were never designed to support your growth. What is being revealed now is not appearing to punish you. It is appearing to safeguard what comes next. The more grounded and clear your response becomes, the more personal power you reclaim. Releasing what has already been working against you is not a loss. What it creates is space, and within that space, something stronger, healthier, and more sustainable finally has room to grow. Sometimes the most significant breakthrough does not arrive with dramatic announcements. It arrives in a quiet moment of realization when you understand that what you've been holding onto no longer belongs in the future you're trying to build. Financial opportunities do not always arrive looking like clear invitations. Sometimes they appear through what first seems like a setback or a closing chapter. An agreement comes to an end. An idea you once set aside suddenly reappears through someone else, or an offer lands in front of you from a source that immediately makes you uneasy. When situations like this arise, they're often less about coincidence and more about clarity. And clarity, even when it feels inconvenient, asks you to pause and look deeper. The real question is not whether an opportunity exists, but whether it truly belongs on your path. In astrology, the energy of the number 8 is often associated with abundance, cycles, legacy, and the relationship between effort and reward. The June 25th to 26th window carries a similar feeling, inviting you to examine what still aligns with your future and what has quietly reached its expiration point. Growth in financial matters is about far more than new opportunities. It is also about integrity and the foundations on which success is built. If a relationship, partnership, or business arrangement is rooted in imbalance, secrecy, or manipulation, it becomes increasingly difficult for it to support lasting prosperity. The universe is not withholding blessings out of cruelty, it is redirecting you towards something more authentic and sustainable. The timing of this energy matters. What feels like resistance may actually be recalibration taking place beneath the surface. That discomfort you've been carrying could be your system releasing old patterns and loyalties that no longer serve your highest good. Before committing to something new or revisiting something from the past, take a moment to stop, breathe, and look beyond appearances. Ask yourself whether an offer is arriving with honesty, transparency, and genuine alignment, or whether it is appearing at exactly the right moment to distract you from important growth and healing. This is where discernment becomes one of your greatest assets. Not everything that shines is meant for you, especially if accepting it requires sacrificing your peace of mind. Sometimes wisdom appears in the form of a delayed answer rather than an immediate yes. Choosing to wait is not the same as avoiding life. Often it is a way of honoring your own timing and protecting the future you are building. As part of this process, consider a simple act of release. Write down every financial fear, belief, or burden you have been carrying, especially those that may have come from other people's experiences rather than your own. Perhaps you learned that money is unpredictable or difficult to keep. Perhaps somewhere along the way you absorbed the belief that success inevitably leads to disappointment, betrayal, or guilt. Whatever those stories may be, place them on paper honestly and without judgment. Then, when you feel ready, safely burn that page with intention and allow it to symbolize a conscious release. Imagine the smoke carrying those old patterns away from you. What you release no longer has the same hold over your decisions, your confidence, or your future. On an energetic level, this practice can represent a shift in perspective and a willingness to create space for something healthier. It becomes a declaration that you are no longer available for confusion disguised as progress. It also signals that you are willing to build more slowly if it means building more securely. Taurus energy understands the value of strong roots, and this period supports creating wealth in ways that honor your values rather than compromise them. You are not meant to pursue abundance through fear, urgency, or constant anxiety. You are meant to attract it by becoming aligned with what is true. Truth is active. It asks for courage, patience, and the willingness to decline opportunities that almost fit so that something fully aligned has room to arrive. Treat the next 3 days with intention. Avoid commitments that feel rushed, unclear, or pressured, and step back from conversations that make it difficult to hear your own inner voice. Reconnect with your relationship to money through awareness rather than force. When the right opportunity arrives, and it will not leave you trapped in confusion. You will feel a sense of steadiness within yourself, a quiet certainty that settles into your body and reminds you that the timing is right. The answer will feel different because it will be grounded in trust rather than urgency. The clearest signals are not always logical. Sometimes they appear through subtle physical responses that speak before words can explain what is happening. A racing heartbeat, an unexpected chill, or a tightening sensation when an offer seems too perfect can carry important information. These reactions are not signs of weakness or overthinking. They are often messages from a deeper wisdom within you, the part that recognizes energy long before the mind can put it into words. And during a period like the one you're moving through now, those signals deserve your attention. They are not meant to be brushed aside or explained away. The energy surrounding June 25th and 26th is inviting you to slow down and listen more deeply, not only with your mind, but with your entire being. You may not have every answer yet, and you may struggle to explain exactly what feels different, but something within you already recognizes it. Your body knows, your spirit knows. When that inner awareness begins to rise, it is not trying to fill you with fear. It is guiding you away from situations, people, or opportunities that no longer align with your truth and your future. The purpose of intuition is protection, not panic. In energy work and personal healing, intuition is often compared to a muscle. The more you honor it, the stronger and clearer it becomes. The more you ignore it, the easier it becomes to question your own wisdom. And right now, Taurus, there is a reason your instincts feel especially alert. What is coming into the light may not arrive through a direct confession or an obvious conversation. Instead, it may first reveal itself through your inner radar, your nervous system, your dreams, or the subtle changes in your emotional landscape. Over the years, I have met many people who ignored these early signals. One experience that has stayed with me involved a woman named Elle, who came seeking guidance after a powerful dream. In that dream, golden rain fell into her hands, symbolizing opportunity and value. Yet every drop that touched her skin was quietly taken away by a shadow standing behind her. She woke up unsettled and unsure of what she had seen. 2 days later, a trusted friend and business partner secretly transferred shared assets into a private account without her knowledge. That dream was not meaningless. It was a warning delivered through symbolism before reality revealed itself. Sometimes guidance arrives through images, sensations, or dreams that bypass logic and speak directly to a deeper part of the self. These messages often reach us long before the mind is ready to understand them. There is real strength in trusting what you feel. Not everything that is true arrives with immediate proof, and not everything familiar deserves your trust. Sometimes the people who cross boundaries most easily are the ones who have spent enough time learning your patterns and understanding exactly how to stay close. That is why discernment matters so much right now. The encouraging part is that you already possess everything you need to navigate this period clearly. Take a slow breath and ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you sensed that something was off but chose to remain silent anyway? When was the last time you felt overlooked, unheard, or emotionally drained, but continued showing up as if nothing had changed? This reflection is not meant to create guilt or regret. It is an invitation to recognize your ability to choose differently. This time, you are being asked to choose from a place of knowing rather than hoping. Many spiritual traditions remind us that what is hidden cannot remain hidden forever. What lives in shadow eventually moves into the light. While that process can feel uncomfortable in the beginning, it also marks the beginning of healing. Once something is revealed, uncertainty loses its power. You no longer have to guess what is happening or question your perception. You gain the ability to move forward with awareness and intention. Trust the pause. Trust the feeling that asks you to wait and observe. Trust the message that arrives quietly instead of demanding attention. Your intuition is not working against you. It is helping you avoid patterns and cycles that you have already outgrown. There is value waiting in the moment you choose to listen and respond to what you already know. In doing so, you reclaim not only your direction, but your personal authority as well. Every awakening eventually reaches a point where awareness must become action. Insight alone is powerful, but lasting change happens when that insight becomes something tangible and lived. The mind, the body, your energy, and your future all begin moving together when truth is expressed through action. That is the invitation standing before you now. Because recognizing the truth is one step. Living as though you truly believe it is something entirely different. And Taurus, you are moving through a period where small, intentional choices can influence the direction of what comes next far more than you realize. One of the simplest ways to begin creating that shift is through water. In astrology and energy practices, water is more than a cleansing element. It carries intention, absorbs energy, and becomes a vessel for the thoughts and emotions we consciously place into it. When you wake up tomorrow, try a simple ritual. Fill a glass with fresh water and hold it gently between your hands. Close your eyes and say these words slowly and with purpose. Taurus, infuse this water with truth, peace, and the power of my abundance. Then drink it as if it represents an agreement between you and the future you are choosing to create. Allow every sip to become a quiet reminder that you are ready to release confusion and welcome clarity. As you move through the day, treat your peace as something valuable and worth protecting. There may be moments when you feel tempted to defend yourself, explain your choices, or engage with unnecessary noise. Yet some of the strongest energy comes not from reaction, but from observation. Silence is not weakness. Often it is wisdom in action. When you pause instead of immediately responding, truth has room to reveal itself without interference. Give yourself permission to step away from conversations that drain your energy or pull you away from your center. Your energy is valuable, and not every conflict deserves your participation. Later in the day, spend some time writing for yourself. Ask honestly and without judgment who consistently leaves you feeling uncertain, diminished, or disconnected from your own value. Who remains close in your life, even though a deeper part of you already senses the connection has changed. This reflection is not about assigning blame. It is about creating freedom. Sometimes people remain attached to relationships that no longer support them because they fear being alone. Yet chosen solitude is not loneliness. It is a period of recalibration where clarity can return and stronger alignment can begin to take shape. Another powerful form of energetic release involves clearing your physical environment with intention. Start with something simple. Open your wallet and remove old receipts, expired cards, or papers that represent confusion, clutter, or versions of yourself that no longer fit who you are becoming. This is about more than organization. Symbolically, it communicates that you are making room for financial clarity and healthier growth. It signals a willingness to welcome prosperity that is built on honesty, transparency, and strong foundations. Taurus energy thrives when the environment reflects stability and purpose. And be honest about your digital environment as well. If someone's presence online consistently triggers comparison, self-criticism, or doubt, consider creating distance. Mute them, unfollow them. You are not required to absorb energy that repeatedly pulls you away from your sense of worth. The more you surround yourself with people, ideas, and influences that support your growth, the easier it becomes to realign with your goals. These actions may appear small: the water ritual, the moments of silence, the journaling, the cleaning, the boundaries. Yet when they are done intentionally, they create movement beneath the surface. In energy work, even the smallest ripple can lead to meaningful change. It is often through these quiet choices that new opportunities begin to emerge. You do not have to transform your entire life overnight. You simply need to begin treating yourself as someone worthy of the future you desire. Because you are, and always have been. And Taurus, as this part of the message comes to a close, take a moment to notice what has shifted within you. Pay attention not only to what you heard, but also to what resonated. This video was never intended to create fear or overwhelm. Its purpose has always been to remind you of something important. You are not here to spend your life keeping everyone else comfortable while ignoring your own truth. You are not here to carry imbalances that no longer belong to you. You are here to create stability that is real and sustainable. And sometimes that kind of stability begins with a decision that feels uncomfortable before it feels free. If the June 25th, 26th window brings an unexpected realization, understand what it truly represents. It is not chaos entering your life. It is clarity arriving where confusion once lived. Life is not removing something to punish you. It is creating space by clearing away what no longer belongs, so you can stand more fully in your own strength and self-worth. Taurus, you are someone who naturally values security, stability, and what can endure over time. Yet there are moments when growth asks you to examine whether what feels familiar is still serving your future. This period invites you to weigh comfort against truth, security against stagnation, and habit against genuine alignment. The choice is no longer sitting quietly in the background. It is asking for your participation. Ask yourself honestly, what would change if you stopped holding yourself back to make others feel comfortable? What possibilities might emerge if you trusted yourself enough to walk away from situations that quietly drain your energy? What kind of prosperity could enter your life if you stopped negotiating with circumstances that leave you questioning your value? These questions are not theoretical. They are invitations, and how you respond through action will influence what comes next. Everything you have been encouraged to consider throughout this video is practical and grounded in real life. Awareness creates choice, choice creates movement, and movement creates change. You do not need to force anything, defend yourself, or prove your worth to anyone. Your task is much simpler than that. Stay honest with yourself. Stay grounded in your values. Stay present with what is actually happening rather than what you hope is happening. When you do, life begins to reorganize around that clarity. Opportunities become easier to recognize. People's intentions become easier to understand. And situations that once felt confusing begin to make sense. I want to encourage you to anchor this energy now, rather than waiting for a later moment. If something in this message resonated with you, if you felt a quiet certainty, an emotional response, or a deeper awareness within yourself, acknowledge it. Give it a voice. Leave a comment below and write either in your own words or simply, "I choose truth. I open the door to abundance. I release what makes me smaller." When intention is spoken, written, or claimed, even in a simple way, insight begins turning into alignment. Before you leave, I want to sincerely thank you for spending this time here. Thank you for your openness, your presence, and your willingness to look honestly at what is unfolding within your life. Every like, every comment, and every subscription represents more than support. It reflects a choice to pursue growth, awareness, and conscious living. If this video brought you value, please like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who may benefit from hearing this message as well. Stay connected, because what unfolds next is not random. It responds to the choices you make today. And Taurus, above all else, remember this. Destiny is not something that simply arrives while you wait. It responds to the decisions you make, the boundaries you honor, and the truth you choose to live by. You are the witness, the decision maker, and the guiding force in your own life. And lasting stability begins the moment you choose yourself.